What's up, guys? It's Missy. I am back with another SimCity Build It video. I am actually doing a video again about the contest of mayors, but this is something that you guys have not heard me talk about very much, and I wanted to kind of share what's going on this week with you guys because I expect that many of you guys are frustrated this week. Okay? So here's the thing. Over the course of the last year, I have spent a great deal of time investigating a particular theory that I have on SimCity. Now, when it comes to the contest of mayors, it always made me wonder, like, why is it that we all experience the same general things? Okay, like, obviously, if you have two people of the same level, they're going to experience some of the same tasks because they only have so many tasks available, right? But I focus on I focus on repetitive behavior, and I analyze everything. And something that I've noticed for a great deal, and you may have heard me talk about it maybe once or twice on my channel, just very briefly, is a theory. It is not fact, and I want to make that very clear. But it is a theory that we all get the same general task, almost like a random bowl of, just imagine like a coffee can, and SimCity decides, okay, this week, this is the general format of the assignments, right? And they scramble it all up, and then everybody gets the same scrambled up coffee can with the same stuff in it, but in a different order. And it goes based on what you pick to determine how well you will do. And this is how they're able to make it fair for everybody. This is how they're able to allow us to run a 2K average every week with the choices that we make, but more importantly, why we're all experiencing the same thing. Now, it's very difficult to notice this when you don't see other people's lists. You just hear about what people say. Okay, so like you'll notice somebody in your chat, maybe you say, oh, I need 20 planks because I have a ladders task, right? And then all of a sudden somebody else comes up and they say, hey, I just had a ladders task. Now, how often do you get ladders? Probably not very often, right? But you both had one that week. And then so-and-so comes in and they're like, yeah, I just got mine, and it's like, but any other week, how often do any of you get that? And everybody's like, oh, no, never. Okay, so that is something that people don't really pick up on, though, because most of the time, people only say anything when they're complaining. When they're complaining about, oh, this week hasn't been nice to me. I'm having such bad luck. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's just been giving me the worst task possible. Look, man. Okay, you need to take accountability for your decisions. You're doing something wrong. Are there bad weeks? Absolutely. But they are always all doable. Now some are harder than others, okay? Some are going to give you a run for your money. They're going to make you think. There's been the past couple of months here, there's been a couple weeks where I have had a hard time really, getting the decisions made but I did it. We were able to get through it, but it wasn't easy because of the changes they kept making. It was like that one week we opened up the contest and everything was all 3K tasks for everybody. Remember that? Now, notice how that happened to everybody. It didn't just happen to one person or a couple people. It's like it happened to everyone, just like this week. Everybody that I've spoke to, and I speak to a ton of people. I get lists all the time, okay, and I analyze their lists of all different levels. Okay, I've got people in level 40s, 30s, 20s, 18, even all the way down to 11. And they're all experiencing an overload of upgrade tasks this week. They're experiencing a low value rotation, and they're getting upgrades in return, and they're having a really hard time understanding what to do. And this video is what I'm going to talk to you guys about. Are you having a hard time this week? Is your week sucking? Well, you're not the only one, okay? Then you'll also notice that typically when you look at your leaderboard, go back to the last couple leaderboards, okay? Look at everybody here that's winning Mega every week, even if you're not. If you're in Mega every week and you take a screenshot of your leaderboard, go back and look. Look through your leaderboard and see every week you'll notice that all of the people have a relatively similar points values. Like if you see somebody somewhere in like the 200K, the odds are they're hacked, right? But the general is usually when you have, one person that's really, really good and knows what they're doing, struggling to hit 180,000 points or 150,000 points on a good week, or, whatever the points value is. Usually everybody below them is struggling as well. Now, obviously, there's an exception with hackers, and obviously, if you are in the lower leagues, you're going to experience huge points jumps. But in the higher leagues, people get a lot closer together, Okay, so the next thing, real quick, I wanted to show you guys what happens when you make bad choices, okay? I was training this person for 3 weeks. I dropped him last week from my training course because he's just not making progress. It would be like the last day of the contest, and he would have 40 some odd tasks plus tickets left. He was making choices that were so unbelievably obviously wrong, and it was pissing me off because it was like I was a broken record. I mean, it got to the point where he had, and I still have the screenshots, he would have a 6K. This was the last double points week. He had a 6K launch war task, and he did something that was worth like 1,000 points or whatever. And I'm like, why did you do that? And his response was, we weren't in war. And then I look at the timestamp because I go to the next one, and he does that task minutes later. At literally the next task he does is the correct choice, but minutes later. And I'm like, what the hell, dude? Then he tells me that in one of the mistakes he made, I said, okay, why did you pick this? And he says, oh, well, that popped up after I started the task. Okay, look, seriously? First off, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. I'll tell you that right now. But how stupid do you take me for? Like, how that dumb do you think I am? What kind of person is that dumb to believe that you started a task and you got a task while it was already started? Nobody is going to believe that. That does not happen. Okay? Then he changes his lie and says, oh, well, then it must have been because, and it's just the excuse after excuse after excuse. So I go further down his list, and I see that he had done it was a flight for 4,000 was below it, and then he had a flight for 2,000. He did the 2,000 flight before the 4,000 flight. Why? I said, why you do this? Like, why? And he says, oh, the timer was running out, so I just figured I might as well. Okay, so why do I talk? How many times have I said, you do not do that. You do not cut corners. You do your highest premium. You cannot afford. I mean, dude, I have hundreds of hours of videos, and he's seen every one of them. Don't think he hasn't. Why would you even think that that is a good idea? And then you know what he does? He does the 4K task after that. Yes, he did it. So it's like the logic, there's no logic. Okay, so then this week. Okay, so the end of that week goes, and I said, look, man, you're not listening to me. If you're going to make choices like this, there's no way in hell. Like, I can't tell you how many times I tell him he's got like a 1,200 glass task, and he's got 35 tasks remaining and 1 day left of the contest. Oh, I do glass now. No, do glass now. It's worth 1,200 points, dude. Okay? This is about to turn into a rant video. I'm getting mad now. Okay? 1,200 points. It's glass. It's going to take you 5 hours, maybe 10 hours. I don't know. I didn't even look at the amount of the glass needed because it doesn't matter because you're not doing it because it's the wrong choice. I mean, and I can't tell you how many times I drilled this into his head. And then it's like I don't respond to him within 10 minutes and it's, oh, I go do glass now. No. What good is it if you can't even finish like 40 of your tasks every week plus tickets? So I told him at this point, I said, look, man, you need to just do quick, fast, easy points, do what you can, and just start fresh again next week. And oh no, I have plenty of time, he says. I can do everything just fine correctly, he tells me. Oh, really, can you? So me, with my 6 years experience being on a pro level, I don't know my head from my ass. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm making it up when I say that you do not have enough time to finish correctly, is what I said. And what do you know? He did not have enough time to finish correctly. He barely manages to crawl to the top of the leaderboard, okay? So then he I told him at the end of the week, I said, look, I have a lot of people that really want to be in my CoM training course. I have a lot of people that value my time and that would benefit from my time that are going to take me seriously. And that is when I told him that I am dropping you from my training course, but I'm going to give you one last chance to redeem yourself. He's been in CoM training for 4 weeks. He's seen all my videos. There's no reason for this type of fucking mistake. And I told him, I said, what I want you to do is take screenshots of every single choice you make on your own this week. If you can prove to me that you are really hearing me, listening to me, and able to finish on time, and I don't expect him not to make mistakes. The whole point in the CoM training course is so that he can learn from his mistakes. But these mistakes are mistakes that shouldn't even be being made, okay? And if you're making these mistakes after everything that I've said, you're not listening to me. And so, again, what does he do? He doesn't listen. He doesn't listen at all. He blows up my messenger for the last 2 days saying, okay, I do this now, I do that now. And this is his screenshots that he's been sending me. Now, granted, they are very far away for you guys. You can't really see them. But I got pissed and uninstalled the app, and I didn't want to even hear his response because I booted him from the group last night because I was just so irritated with him. But I want to clarify what happened here. So this week, what happened with him is this is what he's doing. This is after I told him I'm not helping him this week. He says, hey, Missy, what do I do now? I'm going to cancel that upgrade for 2,400 because it's holding a high valued points. Okay. And see, I got another 2K upgrade. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to give you the gist of what happened so that we don't have to go through his screenshots. But the gist of what occurred is at the beginning of his week, he had a couple very high upgrades that were holding high value. And he did not cancel them at the beginning of the week like he should have. Instead, what he did was he went down to the bottom of his list and he did his rotating tasks while he had a 2,400 upgrade, another 2,000 upgrade, and another high value upgrade. He had several high value upgrades, okay? And he chose to just he was grasping at straws here. There was no rhyme or reason for his choices whatsoever. And he was just, oh, maybe I'll do this, and oh, maybe I'll do that. And it dropped his average, like I said. Remember when I told you guys that if you make one mistake, it can really ruin your whole week? Like, one big mistake. There's little mistakes that you can redeem yourself with. Like, oh, that probably wasn't the best choice. That cost you a couple hundred points. Or, oh, that wasn't the best choice because, you really should have done this. It would have opened something up. This is what we call a very big mistake. If you allow something of a high points value to sit when you have other high point value tasks, you got to understand, break your list down here. He had like a 2K land expansion. He had a monster he couldn't do. Then he had a 2 or 3 high value upgrades. And then he had, low value premiums that were rotatable, yes. But those are rotatable when you have spots available. What you're doing when you do that is you're trying to open something up. And instead, he just basically went, okay, I have all my high valued points seats taken. So I'm going to sit down here and I'm going to play with all my little 1,000 point tasks and continue to get 1,000 point tasks in return, which is exactly what happened. And he burned through like 20, 30 tasks at 1K. So here we are. And I think at one point he had like 40 tasks done and like 29,000 points or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was really, really bad. It was like a 1,000 point average. And he sends me a message saying, Missy, my average is dropping. Oh, help me. Oh, help me. My points are dropping. What's going on? And then he's like, okay, now I do 800 tasks. Oh, now I do this. And then he finally says, oh, I'm going to cancel this upgrade because nothing's going to pop up with this sitting here. Really? And it only took you, I don't know, 20 some odd tasks to figure that out? What happened to, the hundreds of hours in my videos where I stated that will happen? that you cannot afford for that to happen. Now, if he only had one high-valued upgrade and it was like 2,000 points or something, then it's okay because you still have spaces available. But you can't afford to have like 4 tasks sitting at 2,000 points and then a task sitting somewhere up in the 3,000s and then just sit down there and play around with a bunch of 1,000-point tasks all day. He burned through all of his rotating tasks. And now all of his rotating tasks turned into low non-premiums. So now he has high non-premiums and low non-premiums, and high premiums he can't do. So his whole list is just completely fucked. And now he's sitting there going, oh no, what do I do? And now he's so far down on his average that the amount of tasks that he would have to cancel are going to drop him so far down, he's going to be like 40-something tasks done with like 30,000 points. Like seriously, it's that bad. And this is a prime example of what happens when you do not listen and when you do not think and when you do not pay attention. Now, granted, a lot of people are not quite this bad. I would be pulling my hair out every day if they were. But I try to explain to him, you're not listening to me, okay? I told you I wasn't training you this week. Did you listen? No, you did not listen. Then I go further down his messages, and you know what I see? This is where I just had my final straw. He says in one of his messages, and I don't know if I still have it screenshot here. Okay, so right here, okay, can you please suggest how to proceed on? Cancel it again / do repair. First off, I want to make this very clear to everybody because a lot of people make this mistake. If you are in my CoM training course, or if you are, it doesn't even matter if you're in CoM training. One of the vital mistakes that a lot of people are making is they're looking too far ahead, okay? You focus on one task at a time with the possibility of, yes, that task might be doable. But what frustrates me is I will be in CoM training and I will get a message from somebody that says, okay, so nails are the next choice. And then they say, and then hammers, and then this, and then I'll get back to you. No, 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 no. No. Nails are the next choice. These are the next 2 logical choices saying you don't get anything better. But what you're stating is that those are your next 3 choices and that's what you're going to be doing and you're going to get back to me when you're done with that. Absolutely not. Okay? You always focus on the possibility that you're going to do those other tasks, but you focus on one task. I will never, ever, you will never hear me say, yes, do both of those and then get back to me. No, you will hear me say, go ahead and do that, and if nothing better pops up, then yes, that would be in play. That you might hear from me. But you cannot just automatically assume that that is the next good choice. You have to see what comes up first. Now, this is something that he does right here. Oh, cancel again / do repair. No, cancel again and see where you're at. Not then do repair, okay? Just focus, and he doesn't focus. And so then he proceeds on, okay? And like I said, I don't remember if I have it in the screenshots, and I'm pretty sure that I do. But there's a point here. Okay, so, hey, Missy, my average is getting really bad. You don't say. Well, that's what happens when you don't listen to Missy. So right here, you guys can't really see it. It's very difficult. But he has done 10 tasks, and he's got 15,000 points. Okay? That's where he was at that point. Now, here, I don't know when to cancel that upgrade. Please suggest any video that I need to watch based on my choices so far. I will clear monster as soon as it arrives. For time now, I only have rotating tasks. Okay, so rotating tasks are used to open up spots. If you don't have a spot for them to be, what good does it do to rotate them? So think of it like you have 10 chairs, and 4 of them are blue and 6 of them are red. And you want all of your people to be in the blue chairs, but everybody's sitting in the blue chairs. So you're like, hey, you, get up. Go over there. And they walk up to the blue chair and they're like, hey, dude, there's somebody sitting here. Okay, well, then you just go back to the red chair. That's what you're doing. You're basically burning through points, and it's not like you're opening anything up because there's nothing to open up. I mean, what do you think's going to happen? I mean, when you have like one high value task or maybe two, that's one thing. But when you have a full list of stuff you cannot do, even if you don't want to cancel, there's times where you have to make a sacrifice. Okay? Sometimes what's going to happen here is you have to weigh out your options. This is basically what this really all comes down to is this. Think of it this way. If you cancel, you drop your average greatly, but you open up the possibility of something better happening. But if you don't cancel and you continue to do very low value tasks, you drop your average greatly and you burn through your tasks. So they can be just as detrimental, okay? You can have the same repercussions, if not worse, from doing low value tasks at the wrong time as you can canceling. That is my point. So when you cancel a task, it's when the reward outweighs the loss, right? So if if you think of it this way, I decided to cancel this upgrade and I took a 2,000 point loss, but I opened up the possibilities of earning more points going forward. But you chose to leave it sit and continue to earn low valued points going forward to the point where it was worse than just canceling. That is when you cancel, okay? When you don't have anything open, when you have a 3,000 point upgrade, when you have, there's a lot of times where you really have to, there's so many circumstances, but you know what? If you go to that CoM pretest that I made and you take that pretest, take the pretest. It is going to show you what you're doing wrong. Trust me on that, okay? And when you take this pretest, I have it on my channel. Do not cheat yourself. Just be honest with yourself. The only person you're hurting if you cheat is yourself, okay? Do the test. And then when you fail, go look at the answers and watch what you did wrong. And if you can learn, if you can really sit there and learn and take in, what am I doing wrong here? It is going to be clear as day. And the moment that you start thinking like me and you start breaking it down the way that I am and the way that you should be in that video, that is when shit is going to become clear to you, okay? So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute, but there's a couple more things I want to show you guys for this week, okay? So moving forward, what I'm going to tell you what he did. So he ended up in a shitty situation where he was panicking and he didn't know what to do. And he decided that he sends me a message and he says, well, you know, I know we're not supposed to do coins in Mega, but that's the correct choice right now. So that's what I'm doing. That is what he said. So first off, let me tell you something right now. He makes a statement saying, I know what I'm doing is wrong. But then he contradicts himself by saying, but that is what is the correct choice. Not is that the correct choice or whatever. It's he already truly believes that what he's doing is best. Okay, so listen to me and listen to me very, very carefully. If I tell you not to touch coins in Mega, ever, it's a very simple statement, okay? How often do I say that? How often do I say that there is a specific type of task that you never touch? Not very often. Usually I will say something like, it depends on the circumstances, it's more complex, there are certain instances where you would, I would say things like that, right? But when I tell you never, and the only circumstance you would ever touch a coins task in Mega is if it was the last task worth the most points. And that is just by logic, okay? You're trying to earn as many points as possible. It's the very last task on your list, okay? Or if you fucked up the week and you had to do quick, fast, easy points, then and only then, but then technically you wouldn't be playing Mega correctly now, would you? Okay, with that kept in mind, with everybody here that's listened to all my videos and how many times I've said, do not touch the coins task in Mega, he does it. He does it. He does the damn coins task. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And I told him, I'm like, look, man, you're not listening. You're doing it wrong. If I am sitting here and I have hundreds of hours of videos, hundreds, okay? And you're sitting here knowing. How many times have I said, do not touch that task, do not do it, and you did it anyways? What is the point? Why out of everything would you pick that? And then he goes, well, if not that, then what? He just wants an answer. He doesn't want to learn. He just wants me to answer all of his questions. He wants me to pick his tasks, and he doesn't want to know why they're wrong. He doesn't want to learn. He just wants me to do everything for him. The 1 week where I did everything for him, he won. Okay? So, but the problem is he doesn't go quick enough. He falls off. He lollygags. He just dinks around. But the problem is he doesn't listen. Okay? And I told him, I said, and this is the message that I sent to him, and I want to make this very, very clear. It's right here. Okay? I said, look, last week is not gone. Oh, that's where, okay. So I had mentioned to him, I said, look, last week you did this, this, and this, and he's like, last week's over. No, it's not over. It speaks to your character this week. It speaks, everything that you've done over the course of the month is why I'm not training you. It's why you're doing badly. It's your mistakes. You cannot, and I'm going to tell everybody this right now, okay? If you are in a position where you think, oh, I'm just going to start fresh and I'm not going to learn or look at the last week, that is your problem. Do you know how many people hit me up in my inbox and say, oh, maybe next week I'll try to have you look at my stuff? Do you know what that shows me? That shows me you don't want to learn. That shows me that you are not really, really committed. Because if you were, you would want to know right now what you're doing wrong, and you would want an explanation. It wouldn't matter if you started fresh. It wouldn't matter for anything, because you want to know what you're doing wrong. You don't want to just try it on your own and see what happens. Because here's the thing. You can do it on your own, okay? And that's totally up to you. I can't help everybody in the world. I'm going to tell you that right now. But if you're in a position where you really want to learn this shit, my best students are the ones that really know how to, they really have ambition, but not just the ambition. It's, they ask questions. They want to learn. They don't automatically assume they're right, okay? The 3 people that I've trained that were like that have all failed miserably. And he's one of them. Now, I try to explain to him, no, last week is not over. And then he says, or I said, you're making the same exact mistakes you made last week and the last 3 previous to this. You're taking too long. You're not listening to me. You're doing whatever you want. You don't touch the coins in Mega, and you did it anyways. You want me to answer you as to what's the right answer. Why don't you explain why you don't listen to me? Why do you cut corners? Why do you do factory tasks that take 6 hours when you're way behind and they're way less than 2,000 points when I've told, and then I said, why I told you I'm not helping you this week? Or I said, when I told you I'm not helping you this week, I told you to send all of your choices in and I would review them. If you showed me that you're actually going to make an effort and hear me, then I would help you. You didn't listen to that. I told you 2 times that what you were doing was wrong, and, I just proceeded on. You didn't listen there. I told him to take the CoM pretest. He didn't do it. Twice I had told him, take the pretest. It'll show you what you're doing wrong. Didn't listen. And I told him, I said, you're the only one doing this. And he is. Okay, I've had people make mistakes, yes. I've had people fall behind on time and lollygag, yes. But he is the only person that I've ever trained that has had this much of a problem, that has been this difficult, that it's almost as though he's doing it deliberately. Okay, the tasks that he's choosing don't make any sense. And I want to show you guys something real quick. Okay, the next couple of screenshots on your screen. This right here. This type of shit, after watching every one of my videos, if you make a choice like this, you're not listening to me, okay? Look at this. 3,200 keys over a 6K VU. Why do I talk? This is somebody who's wasting my time. I don't have time for this, okay? You either want to learn and you listen, or you don't. Now, there's going to be times where you're just going to have to trust me, okay? there's times in the week where people are strongly against my choice, and they're like, but I wouldn't pick that, and I don't know why, and da-da-da-da-da. But you know what? I tell them, I say, you can do it your way, but if it were me, this is what I would do. And every time they do it their way, shit happens. Every time they do it my way, they're like, all right, cool, we're good to go. I have a lot of experience with the game, okay? I know what I'm talking about, and you have to... This isn't easy, okay? I'm going to tell you that. Nobody should feel bad if you're not understanding it. It's not like that. It's how do I explain this? There's a certain level of competence that you have to be able to even think of doing something like this. And if stuff like this is the stuff you're making mistakes on, there's no hope for you, okay? If you've seen every one of my videos and you've been in my CoM training course for 3 weeks and you choose a 3,200 keys over a 6,000 VU that you can do, there is no hope for you, okay? Just give up, because you're not learning, you're not listening, and if you're doing things like this, it just doesn't make sense, okay? Not after all of my videos. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about with the contest of mayors test here. Now, many of you guys took it and you failed. Now, I told you guys to watch the video, and many of you did. Let's see here. We reviewed the answers, and I hope that a lot of you guys saw what you were doing wrong, that you were not thinking and analyzing and stuff like that. Now, there's one thing that I want to talk to you guys about when it comes to learning on what I'm trying to teach you. How many times have you guys heard me say, what I'm teaching can't be taught, what I'm teaching can't be about the game. Like, it's about something more than the game. I'm teaching you a technique here. Now, there's a couple of things that... Oh, wait, I opened the wrong thing here. There's a couple of things that I wanted to show you guys that you guys didn't pick up on, okay? Or, well, maybe you did, but obviously, if you passed, you did, but if you didn't pass, you probably did not. There's things that you would look for when you are a critical thinker, okay? And I had talked to Shang yesterday. I had given him the pretest, and he failed. The first question he got right, but the second question he failed. And he just kept guessing. And I had given him a hint, and I said, look, man, it's the answer that you're looking for is not in the multiple choice. I just told him straight out. You know, I had to, at this point now, I'm just giving him hint after hint after hint. And I kept telling him, what's in setting the scene? What are you missing? What do you not have? What information do you need? Like, it was that unbelievably obvious. And he kept going to the multiple choice and going, B repair, this, that. And I'm just like, dude, stop. What do you need? What would I do? How would I answer this? What information would I ask for in order to answer question number 2? And he kept grasping. And then finally I was like, oh my God, it's the league. You don't know what league they're in. How the hell can you possibly answer this? And then he felt stupid. Okay. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so dumb. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Right. So we had this big long spiel, and I gave him like a 4-minute long voice message on Messenger. And I explained to him again how you cannot answer that question without all of the information required. Right. And how I specifically wrote this test to be trick questions, to make people think, because I can sit here and I can ask you multiple choice all day long, you know, but the bottom line is you need to know how to break it down. You need to know how to critically think and see what's missing, what's not there, you know, like, and what information is required and why it's required. The information that I tell you need to have is there because you need to know about it. Why? Because it matters with your choices. And people are not listening. They think, okay, I have this information. Now I go to the list and I'm still making the choices based off of just multiple choice. They're not applying the information that's required. They're going, yes, this information is here. Now I'm going to go back to trying to pick a multiple choice. I'm not going to apply that information to how I'm picking my multiple choice. Does that make sense? And so after this big, long spiel about this, right, he goes to question 3, and he immediately starts picking options. Again. And I was just flabbergasted. I'm like, dude, okay, stop. Listen to me. We just discussed how you did not have the required information to answer number 2. That there's no way you can possibly answer this based on the information provided. We just had this spiel. And you're doing it again on number 3. Now you don't have any information. How can you possibly answer this? You can't. Period. End of story. And I basically handed him the answers. It couldn't have been more clear. And he was just, so? What? Like, dude, I'm trying to understand here. Okay? I just told you need the information to answer this. And again, you didn't listen to me, and you went right to what you thought was best. Now, that is when I realized, that's when it clicked for me. And I always knew this, but it really clicked for me. What a lot of you guys are doing wrong is you are not focused. Your goal is not to learn. It's not. And you might think it is, but listen to me. Just really hear me out. The people that are struggling the most, and, you know, it might not be every single person, you know, listening to this video that I'm referring to, but 90% of you guys that are struggling the way that you are, the reason you're struggling is because you don't want to learn the technique. You don't want to break it down with the information provided. When was the last time you looked at the list and went, okay, I'm in this league. How does this affect me? Okay, I have this many tasks. How does this affect my choice? Okay, I have this much time remaining. How does this affect my choice? How many times do you do that? And if you don't say every time, you have a problem. Okay? That is the problem. Now, remember when I just said that you don't want to learn? You don't. You want to just know the choice. That's what you want. You don't really want to learn the technique to find the correct answer. You just want to be able to have the correct answer. There's a difference between wanting to learn and wanting to win. Okay? You just want to win. The technique itself is not appealing to you. If you really want to learn the technique, then when you come to me and you do something wrong, you ask me, why, how, please explain to me, and you take down that as a mental note and you say, you know what? Okay, I'm going to apply this. You don't say, okay, that's wrong, now what's right? Okay, that's right, now what's right? You don't do that. Because the moment that I'm not there to hold your hand and say, yes, that's right, no, that's wrong, then what's going to happen? Then you're going to be sitting there going, now what's the right choice? Because you haven't been focused on learning and learning the technique. You're just focused on picking the right choice. He was so blinded. He was so blinded by wanting to get the right answer that he didn't even notice that the information required to do so was not even there. Even after being told, he was still so one-track focused. Just, he was seeing in one direction. He's not looking at the whole picture. He's just looking at one thing. That it blinded his ability to notice the details. And this happened to almost everybody that took this test this week. They were so focused on, oh, I'm so excited, I'm going to do so good, and automatically assuming they passed, automatically assuming that they knew everything, that they were unable to realize, hey, wait a minute here, smart people fail. Smart people make mistakes, and they learn from them. Okay? They don't take it so personally that they allow it to blind their ability to do better. You take it as a learning experience. You take it as a way to improve. It's not meant, this test is not meant to beat you down. It is meant to build you up. Okay? It's meant to show you what you're doing wrong. And every single person that takes this test, if you failed, it is very obvious what you're doing wrong. You are not thinking. You are not breaking it down the way that you should. Now, if you watch that video, that answers video where I went through and I showed the answers, Sydney's answers, the ones that he gave, he had paragraphed answers. Do you know what that was? That was his thought process. That was exactly what needed to happen for him to get the right answer. Because if he does that thought process, if he follows the things that I've taught him and applies them that way, the correct answer, it doesn't have a choice. It comes to you. You're going to break it down and then it'll be there. It's almost like you're going through a process and you're crossing things off the list and going, okay, so this and this and this, okay, well then that would exclude that. This and this and this, okay, that excludes that. And the next thing you know, you're left with one answer and that is the correct choice. Or maybe you're left with two answers and then you have to go, okay, now out of these, what do I know? How can I break this down? What is the correct choice? And that is exactly how it's done. Okay? Now, there's a couple of key things that I want to point out to you guys on this test that I guarantee you 99% of you did not notice, especially if you failed. Now, what you want to look for is what's missing or what's there or what's not there. You're looking at everything, okay? If something stands out to you, you need to ask yourself, why does it stand out? You ever watch a movie and they zoom in on something? Maybe it's the beginning of a movie and they zoom in on a watch, right? And you're just sitting there watching it and you're like, oh, that's a pretty cool watch. The director specifically chose to zoom in on that watch. He made a point of making the set and making the scene and writing to zoom in on that watch. And it never even dawned on you to make mental note of, why is that important? What does he want me to see there? It never even dawned on you. And you're like watching the movie halfway through and then all of a sudden they do this like flashback or whatever, and it's all of a sudden everything becomes more clear. Oh, that's what that watch was for at the beginning of the movie. Oh, now it's clicking, right? Now, really smart people, what the fuck? Really smart people, they pick up on things like that. And they're able to foresee, you can see things. I can almost always predict every movie. What's going to happen and things like that, just based on the criteria of the script, the way that it's written, what they're focusing on. Like, okay, I see where this is going, but you got to really focus on the details. The details in the script, what the director wants you to see, what they're putting there in the scene, that it's there for people who notice it, but it's not blatantly obvious to the general person. Okay? And a lot of people, they just don't think like that. So when you looked at this test, there was a lot of key clues that I specifically used to stand out to people who are critical thinkers. Okay? And hold on just a second here. Okay. Sorry about that. So when you looked at this, this was the second question. And I said, setting the scene, level 24 player, 3 days left, 12 hours remaining of the contest, 12 hours left and 30 tasks remaining. Okay, so I made a point of saying setting the scene. I didn't have to do that part. I could have just said level 24, but I specifically wrote setting the scene as a way to trigger your brain into going, okay, this is what she's taught me. This is something that I need to do. It's a step in the contest and how to pick the right choice. When I told you guys that there's 8 stages of CoM and I taught you how to pick these choices, I wasn't just saying, oh, this is something that you'll hear me say and then never use again. This is something you're going to use pretty much every time you pick a task, okay? Realistically. Now, notice how I also left you another hint, okay? And I said, what is your first observation? And notice how, hold on just a second here. Notice how the number 2, the question was not in the statement. There is no question mark up there. That is just setting the scene. Okay? So for people who really paid attention, the question was actually G. Okay? It was part of the answer, which is why I gave everybody a hint that said you need to focus outside of the box. That not all answers are going to be in the multiple choice. That's what I told people. Okay? This is where the question was. What is your observation? Meaning that there is no multiple choice answer. That it's something you need to make a note of, like what's missing. Nobody even picked up on any of those hints, right? I mean, I'm sure maybe somebody out there did. And if you did, please comment in this video so I know that I'm making progress somewhere. But right here, this was a major hint. I specifically added this in. Why would I do that? You know, I took the time out of my day, that the thought went through my head to make this statement. Why? That's what you need to know. Why? Why did she do that? Okay? You know, like a crime scene for cops or whatever, when they do stuff, you go, okay, what's significant about this piece of evidence? What is important about this, or what is missing? You know, that'll tell you a lot. So right here, I made the point of putting this one before that, like to trigger your brain into going, okay, I need to make a mental note of this. I need to make sure that I am looking at everything, that I am doing my 8 stages of CoM, and I'm saying, okay, I'm setting the scene. I have all the information required. That is what this was. And then I specifically, and if you look very closely, I wrote, what do you do / need? The reason I didn't do just need, what do you need? Because that would have been blatantly obvious, hopefully. But I put do because what do? You say, I can't do anything. That is the trick. That's the trick answer. But what do you need? So there was 2 questions there, actually. What do you do / need? Meaning 2 things. But how many people picked up on that? This is what tools it takes to be a critical thinker. You can be a critical thinker. You just have to train your brain to do it. Okay? You have to pick up on these things. Well, you know, I'm hoping you can. I'm hoping I'm not trying to teach the impossible here. My brain just works this way. I don't know why, it just does. I automatically think this way. It just comes naturally. I don't know why. So hopefully I'm not trying to teach the impossible here. Okay, so what is the correct choice? You are in Mega, 55 tasks remaining and 5 days left, right? Level 24. Right there, I just want to know the correct choice, meaning that the answer is clearly in the list as long as I have all the information required to get my answer, right? Okay, which I do, because I'm in Mega, that's the league. I have my tasks remaining, which is vital if I don't have time remaining, but I have both time remaining and tasks remaining, and then level. So I'm good. I got it all. I don't need any other information. I'm good to go. Okay? Now, everything that you would know, I put the cancel upgrade at the top. It stands out, but you need to look down the list and keep moving. Okay, now, what is the correct choice? Level 20, in Mega, 4 days left. Now, you should have noticed right away that the amount of tasks was not there. But you should have circled back around and went, but there's 4 days left. So it really doesn't matter how many tasks are remaining because there's 4 days left. So even if they had all 60 tasks remaining, because we said we were in Mega, so we know how many we started with, that there would still be plenty of time to finish it. That is what your brain should have done, okay? You should have done that. You should have said, yes, there is missing information here, but I can conclude the correct choice even with the missing information because of the information provided, right? Okay. Now, what do you do and choose? Level 24 in Mega with 1 day left and 19 tasks. So, let's see here. You got the glass, You're in Mega. You got 1 day left. 19 tasks. What do you do and choose, not slash, and choose. So what this is asking here is there's 2 answers here. What do you do? Well, you got to decide what points you have. You got to go look at your leaderboard. You got to go say, well, did I fall too far behind? You know, do I have enough time to finish? Am I doing tickets also? Which, if you remember back to Sydney's answers, he did the same thing in his analysis. He said, well, I don't know if this is with tickets or without tickets, but if we're still trying to win and we're planning on using tickets, then this, and this would be the correct choice, right? Now, technically, there's 2 good answers here, because if you were to proceed on with trying to win, then you would go with smoothies. It's your highest premium. But if you have tickets also remaining and you planned on using them, then it would be quick, fast, easy points, and you would go with the earned coins, right? Okay. So there's actually 2 answers there. So he was able to give me that answer. If he can do it, you can do it, okay? All I had to do was tell him that not every answer is in the multiple choice. The same thing that went out to everybody was the same identical message that went to everybody. Nobody got any other treatment. Well, besides Shang, but he failed miserably anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that's my point. And he was able to answer it exactly how I would have, because he did an analysis, okay? And yes, the multiple choice was in that format. But if you paid very close attention to the statement I provided and the details within here, then it wouldn't have mattered if it was in multiple choice format, because you would have noticed, hey, there's more going on here. That there's always more than meets the eye, okay? All right, what task is premium? This is a pretty straightforward question, okay? So that was pretty obvious. Then it says, which do you choose? Level 24 in Metro League with 1 ticket left. So this is pretty much concluding that you're going for the most points possible, and then you would also take into consideration the fact that you're in Metro. So really, you're just going for the most points possible, okay? Now, you would obviously look at your leaderboard and see what your options are, you know, as far as winning, just to see if you even have a chance. But what might be another good idea, and this is just a little hint for people, it doesn't really have to do with the test. If you're experiencing somebody who is adding just enough points to just barely be above you at the end of the week, give it to like the last 3 seconds and then claim those points and knock them below first place, okay? So going on to number 8, what are your rotating what tasks are your rotating tasks? Anybody here that provided one answer was not looking at the question. Tasks, there's an S there, plural, okay? So you should have had multiple selections here. Which ones are your rotating tasks? Okay, what is the correct choice? Level 18 in City League, 20 tasks remaining with 2 days left. Well, you know that they're in City League. That's what stood out here. So something's different. Okay, so we're going City League, 20 tasks, 2 days. Quick, fast, easy. We know we're not doing tickets anyways. We're in City. We're just trying to earn some stuff. We don't really want to burn through all of our resources. We're going to go with, are we going to do cargo? Why would we do cargo? It costs money. No, we're not going to do cargo. Plus, it's worth less than gold keys. Paris. Well, yeah, but it costs money. Why would we do Paris? See what I'm saying? No, we wouldn't. Keys are your obvious selection here, okay? So right here, there was a lot of hints in this test. So when people say, oh, but I was confused. Yes, you were. But you would have been less confused if you had analyzed everything, right? So that's my point. Everything that you needed and more was in this test. All the hints, all of the little people jumping up saying, hey, look at me. The evidence was there, but you have to train your brain to see it. Okay, so going forward, what I'm teaching you, like I've said many times, has nothing to do with SimCity. I'm teaching you a technique. I want you to be able to get the answer without being taught the answer. I want you to know how to get the answer. So you can sit here and you can memorize every answer on a math test. And if I take away the answer sheet and I say, okay, you've memorized it in order, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, that's your answer sheet, okay? And then all of a sudden I say, all right, we're going to scramble these up a little bit and we're going to move all these little things around. And now you don't have the order. Now you're like, but now I actually have to do the math, right? Now you actually have to do the work and figure out what's going on. But then I come along and I erase part of the numbers. And I say, okay, now what do you do? And you're like, you're sitting there trying to pick one of the multiple choice, just trying to get lucky, when you're not realizing that you cannot get the answer without the information provided. You can guess and you might be right, but that is not what we're looking for here. The reason you can't answer this accurately is because you don't have the information provided. Could you guess and end up right? Oh, yeah, you could, but that's not what we're trying to teach here, right? Okay, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I really hope that this clicks with you guys and that you're able to understand what exactly it is I'm trying to teach you. I really am trying to teach you guys how to look for things in this way, to be critical thinkers. And it will help you guys in so many ways, in more than just the contest, you know, in epics, in life, dude. It'll help you guys really, it really, really will. So go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, and I am going to go ahead and get this stream going.